50 Cent and Jay-Z have always had a strange relationship. But what if we told you that 50 has been hiding a secret about Hav for years? A secret so big it could change how you see Jay-Z forever. The clues were there all along. And now it's finally coming out. Let's rewind the clock to the early 2000s, the golden era of hip-hop. This was when 50 Cent exploded onto the scene with Get Rich or Die Trying. And Jay-Z was already considered royalty in the rap game. On the surface, they were two titans in the same industry, but behind the scenes, there was tension, and not just competition, real, unspoken tension. At first glance, it looked like a classic case of two alpha personalities in the same room. Jay-Z was businesssavvy.com, calculated. 50 Cent was aggressive, raw, street certified. But what if the truth is deeper? What if 50 Cent knew something about Jay-Z's something big Dan he's been sitting on it all these years? Let's break it down. In 2003, 50 Cent dropped How to Rob, a song where he name-dropped almost every major rapper in the game, including Jay-Z. Most artists either laughed it off or took it as a joke. But Jay-Z's response? Dead serious. At Summer Jam, he clapped back with a line. "I'm about $1. What the F asterisk 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 is it 50 cents?" That moment went viral before viral was even a thing. But many people didn't know that this wasn't just entertainment. Behind the scenes, 50 Cent felt the pressure and noticed something strange about how Jay-Z moved. 50, being the street-savvy tactician he is, started watching Jay-Z not just as a rapper, but as a strategist. Years later, in interviews, 50 Cent would often dodge direct beef with Jay-Z while he clowned Ja Rule, Fat Joe, Diddy, and even Dr. Dre. At times, he always avoided going fully in on Havad, right? Especially coming from someone who never hesitates to go for the kill. Well, there's a reason for that, according to whispers from people close to the industry. 50 Cent discovered something during his rise, something about Jay-Z's early business, moves, alleged affiliations, and connections that were better left untouched. In 2005, 50 Cent was working closely with Chris Lighty, a major figure in music management. Around this time, he started gaining access to high-level meetings and learning how the industry really works. That's when, reportedly, 50 found out about certain corporate backdoor deals Jay-Z made before becoming Def Jam president. These deals weren't public at the time. Exposing them could have shattered Jay-Z's image. But 50 didn't speak on it. Why? Because 50 Cent is a master of leverage. He plays the long game, just like he did with his vitamin water deal, turning $0 into over $100 million. So when he learned something that could be career-ending for Jay-Z, he knew that speaking out publicly would only burn bridges. Instead, he kept it to himself, watching and waiting. Over the next few years, you could see the mind games playing out. In one interview, 50 Cent says, "Jay's smart. He knows what he's doing, but he's not untouchable." That subtle line shook a few heads in the room. It was 50's way of saying, "I know something. And you know, I know it too." Fast forward to the 2010s. Jay-Z has become a billionaire, married to Beyonce, running Rock Nation. Meanwhile, 50 is pivoting into TV, producing hits like Power and BMF. On the surface, they're in completely different lanes. But then, during a Breakfast Club interview, Charlemagne asked 50 why he never took shots at Jay like he did with others. 50 just smirked and said, "I don't gotta say everything I know." Boom. That moment flew under the radar for most casual fans. But people in the culture knew that was confirmation. There's something deeper between these two. Something unspoken. A silent understanding. It's a secret that 50 Cent refuses to spill but always hints at when the timing is right. And let's not forget, 50 Cent has a pattern. He'll hold on to information for years, only to drop it when the person least expects it. He did it with Diddy. He did it with Floyd Mayweather. And he did it with Irv Gotti. So if he really knows something about Jay-Z, The only reason he hasn't said it yet is because the timing hasn't served him. Now here's where it gets even crazier. Around 2020, a leaked conversation from someone claiming to have worked with both ROC Nation and G-Unit suggested that 50 Cent may have had access to sealed legal documents related to Jay-Z's early music catalog acquisition. If this is true, then 50's silence isn't just a flex's protection. There's even speculation that 50 was offered a quiet NDA in exchange for his discretion. And knowing how calculated 50 Cent is, he probably used that info to his advantage, making silent power moves while keeping Jay-Z's secret tucked away. But fans aren't blind. They've noticed the small jabs. The interviews where 50 stops mid-sentence, the smirks. The way he always says, "Hav knows," without explaining what that even means. It's become an ongoing game of chess. And 50's, sitting on a checkmate, still not convinced. Let us talk about Beyoncé. There's a popular theory that 50 Cent has dirt involving not just Jay-Z but Beyoncé too. Now, this isn't about cheating scandals or salacious gossip. It's more about financial moves made through their management team's deals that might not look too good if they ever came to light. Multiple industry insiders believe 50 Cent got wind of these dealings while working with Live Nation and Interscope. And ever since then, he's kept a noticeable distance from Hav and Bey's empire, never collaborating, never crossing paths, never fully calling them out. And here's the most shocking part. 50 Cent has hinted that if he ever wanted to crash the whole system, all he'd have to do is drop one truth. One truth that would make headlines for years. But he hasn't. Not yet. The deeper you go into this story, the more it feels like a Cold War one, where two powerful giants keep their distance, exchange calculated jabs, and never fully pull the trigger. But the truth is, 50 Cent didn't just keep Jay-Z's secret to protect him, he kept it because it gave him power. Now let's go back to the business side. Around 2007, 50 was at the peak of his music career. Jay-Z, meanwhile, had stepped into the corporate world in a big way. He was the president of Def Jam, building his empire behind the scenes. This is where things get complicated. According to a former Def Jam executive who has since spoken anonymously, Jay-Z, Allegedly used a loophole in contract negotiations to buy back certain music rights and repackage them through ROC Nation, while keeping others in the dark. This move allegedly benefited him massively, but it also cut out several other artists from long-term royalties. When 50 Cent found out, he realized just how ruthless and brilliant Jay-Z was. But instead of exposing him, 50 took notes. It was at this point that 50 Cent stopped trying to compete with Jay-Z as just a rapper. He pivoted. Vitamin Water, SMS. Audio G-Unit Filmcy was building his own empire. Learning from Jay-Z's model, but making it more aggressive, more in your face. But every time someone would ask about Hav, 50 kept the same cool, calculated energy. He didn't deny knowing things, he just never confirmed them either. In one 2011 interview, 50 was asked who he respected most in the rap industry. His answer: "I respect the business moves. Some of Mr. Dirty, but effective." Again, no names, just implications. But when asked specifically about Jay-Z's music catalog ownership, 50 replied with a smirk. He didn't get all that clean. That's all he said. But it was enough for the hip-hop community to start whispering. Because remember, this is coming from a man who has no fear of going to war. He's fought with Ja Rule, The Game, Rick Ross, Diddy, Mayweather, Wendy Williams, and even his own son. Yet Jay-Z, he stays hands off. That's not fear. That's strategy. Some fans think 50 Cent has access to financial records or private agreements. That would expose how Jay-Z really built his early fortune. There are even rumors that 50 was approached by a journalist working on an unauthorized Jay-Z biography, offering money in exchange for information. 50 reportedly turned it down. Why? Because 50 Cent plays chess, not checkers. If he were to drop everything he knows in one big explosion, he'd lose his leverage. Instead, he's kept the secret like a loaded weapon only, showing it off when it suits him. Think about it. Every time 50 is trending, he mentions Jay-Z. Just enough to stir attention. Never a full diss. Just enough smoke to remind everyone he's sitting on something big. Let's talk about one of the strangest clues of all. Tidal. When Jay-Z launched the Tidal streaming service, it was promoted as a platform for artists, by artists, but many major artists didn't join. 50 Cent was one of them. He even laughed it off on Instagram saying, "I'm cool on that little wave." But behind the scenes, there were rumors that 50 Cent had inside knowledge about the ownership breakdown of Tideland. It wasn't as artist-friendly as they were claiming. Some insiders claimed Jay-Z used the artist empowerment label to mask investor pressure and secure larger stakes for himself and a few partners. 50 didn't expose it, but again, he made sure to publicly distance himself from it. That's his pattern. He doesn't reveal. He removes himself, quietly, subtly, but noticeably. Then, in 2017, the 444 album dropped, and Jay-Z addressed multiple issues: cheating, business struggles, emotional vulnerability. Many fans saw it as a personal and raw project. But not 50. In fact, 50 went online and clowned the album in a now-deleted Instagram post. "Man, that's *T too smart. I want some turn-up music. That's like golf course music." Most took it as a simple jab. But if you pay attention, it was also 50's way of saying, "You're not as real as you want people to think." In another interview, 50 doubled down. "You can be smart and still be fake." That line hit hard. Because it wasn't just about music, it was about image. And 50 knows that Jay-Z's image is his brand. Clean, wise, mogul, untouchable. So, if 50 really has information that could crack that image, it explains why he's kept it hidden. Not out of mercy, but out of timing. Let's not forget, in the entertainment world, image is everything. Destroying someone's image is worse than beef. It's career-ending. It's legacy-shattering. Now here's something nobody saw coming. In 2021, an anonymous hacker group leaked emails from a major music marketing firm. Among the documents was a vague reference to a backdoor deal involving streaming platform stakes, music rights, and ghostwriting credits. The file was marked confidential, linked to Carter and Jackson conflict. Carter equals Sean Carter, Jay-Z Jackson equals Curtis Jackson, 50 Cent. The internet exploded with theories. Some said it was fake. Others believed it was proof that 50 had been holding on to this information like a nuclear weapon, something that could be released if Jay-Z ever stepped out of line. But once again, 50 said nothing. No denial, no confirmation, just silence. That silence, that's power. And remember how 50 always talks about energy? In many interviews, he said, "I don't start problems, but I finished them." And yet, with Jay-Z, the finish has never come. That's not a coincidence. That's strategy. It's mutual awareness. Because here's the real twist. Jay-Z knows, 50 Cent knows. This isn't a one-sided secret. It's a stalemate, a quiet, unspoken truce. They don't like each other. They don't support each other. But they don't destroy each other either. Why? Because in this war of kings, one truth bomb could ruin it all. Let's be real, when two of the most powerful men in hip-hop have history, there's always more than what the public sees. But in the case of 50 Cent and Jay-Z, this history is different. This isn't about a diss track or a record label beef. This is about a calculated silence, a silent war that's been going on for nearly 2 decades. 50 Cent has always thrived on chaos. He exposes people, plays the villain, and loves being the disruptor. Jay-Z, on the other hand, is the chess master, quiet, measured, and always 10 steps ahead. But both of them are dangerous in their own way. And if 50 really knows something that could damage Jay-Z, The only reason he's held it back is because he's not done using it yet. In fact, if you go back and look at some of 50's biggest power moves, they always happen after he sends subliminal shots at Jay-Z every few years. He throws a vague comment into an interview, something small, something teasing in, right? After, boom, new business, new series, new attention. Coincidence or leverage at work? Let's talk about power. When 50 launched his hit show, people expected him to stay in his usual lane of gangster drama. But Power went mainstream fast. And guess who started getting into TV production right after? Jay-Z. Around 2017, Jay began working behind the scenes on documentaries and scripted series. Some say it was just expansion. Others say it was a competition. See, 50 Cent doesn't just chase money, he chases dominance. And by holding on to Jay-Z's secret, he's kept himself in a position of quiet power. Everyone around him knows it. Even Jay-Z's inner circle reportedly avoids speaking publicly about 50. That's not fear, it's respect for the threat. But here's the kicker. The industry has changed. Hip-hop isn't just about music anymore. It's about media, branding, and legacy. And as these two titans grow older, their brands are more important than ever. Jay-Z wants to be remembered as the mogul, the blueprint for business success in hip-hop. 50 Cent wants to be remembered as the disruptor, the one who couldn't be controlled. And in that battle, information is currency. According to a journalist close to the hip-hop media circuit, 50 Cent is sitting on a vault of material, emails, contracts, and whispered conversations. These aren't wild conspiracies. These are real receipts. Allegedly, one of them involves a secret partnership deal between Jay-Z and a global tech brand, where millions were funneled through shell companies. This wasn't illegal, but it looked shady. If made public, it could damage Jay's image as a clean-cut billionaire. Another rumor suggests that 50 Cent knows the real story behind ROC Nation's origins, not the PR version, but the raw, gritty truth. The version that includes aggressive buyouts, backdoor exits, and one major betrayal that nearly tanked the company before it even launched. And if 50 has been sitting on all of this, the question becomes, why hasn't he used it yet? Simple. Timing. 50 Cent understands that in the world of power, the truth is only useful when it serves a purpose. Right now, Jay-Z is seen as hip-hop's elder statesman. It's respected, global, and largely untouchable. But if Jay ever slips of his empire, cracks 50 will be ready. Not to expose him for clout, but to claim the throne. Think about it. What better way to rewrite the legacy of hip-hop than to reveal that the most untouchable man in the game wasn't so clean after all? And that 50 Cent the rebel, the outsider, was the only one brave enough to tell the truth. But here's where it gets even deeper. In a 2023 interview, 50 was asked directly if there's anyone in the industry he avoids going after. He laughed and said, "I avoid no one. I just wait. Wait for what?" That's the question everyone is still asking. Some believe that 50 will never speak unless Jay makes a move first. Others believe he's saving the truth for a documentary. Or maybe even a memoir. There's talk that 50 Cent is already working on a tell-all book, not just about his life, but about the industry. And Jay-Z's name comes up a lot. So will he ever actually expose the truth? Probably. But only when it will give him the maximum advantage. That could be years from now, could be tomorrow. But make no mistake, 50 Cent hasn't kept Jay-Z's secret out of kindness. He's kept it because it's his ace card. And when the moment comes, he'll play it like a master. Because in this game of power, silence isn't weakness, it's control. And 50 Cent, he's been in control this whole time. If this story shook you, if you feel like there's a truth beneath the surface that the world still hasn't heard, then hit that subscribe button right now. We're not done exposing the unseen chessboard behind the biggest names in hip-hop. There's more to this story, more secrets, more power plays, and you deserve to hear it all. Drop a comment below. Do you think 50 Cent will ever expose Jay-Z? Or is he playing a deeper game none of us can fully understand? Either way, the silence between them is loud. And the moment that silence breaks, the whole culture will feel it. Make sure you turn on notifications because the next video might just blow the lid off the biggest truth in hip-hop history. Stay tuned. This is just the beginning. The beginning.